Hello, my name is Matthew Tink. In this presentation, we'll analyze Kenneth Minkema's Reforming Harvard, Cotton Mather on Education at Cambridge. We'll explore the historical context of early 18th century Harvard, Mather's specific reform proposals, and why these debates remain essential in understanding the role of education in shaping communities. Cotton Mather was one of the most prominent Puritan ministers in Boston. He lived during a period of intellectual and cultural transition in colonial New England. Minkema emphasizes that Mather was not just a preacher, but also a prolific writer and intellectual leader who published over 400 books and pamphlets. His writings revealed a deep conviction that education and religion were inseparable, a belief that framed his calls for a reform at Harvard. Harvard was founded in 1636 and was initially established to train Puritan ministers, heavily emphasizing classical languages, biblical studies, and moral discipline. However, by the early 1700s, some ministers and colonial leaders, including Mather, were concerned that Harvard was losing its spiritual focus. The construction of new buildings like Massachusetts Hall reflected Harvard's growth, but also symbolized a tension between expanding academic opportunities and maintaining religious integrity. Mather drafted specific plans for reforming Harvard. He envisioned a curriculum where theology and classical education were deeply integrated and designed to cultivate scholars who were not only intellectually prepared, but also morally grounded. In some of his writings, Mather warned, "A scholar without piety is a ship without ballast." This quote captures his belief that intellectual knowledge without spiritual discipline would destabilize not just individuals, but society as a whole. Harvard classrooms in the early 18th century were strict, disciplined spaces. Students often began their day with prayer, studied Latin and Greek texts, and engaged in rigorous debates rooted in theology. Minkema notes that Mather's reform proposals included reinforcing daily spiritual practices and increasing student accountability. These ideas were designed to keep the institution aligned with its founding mission. Today, Harvard is a globally recognized leader in higher education. Yet, questions Mather raised about the balance between intellectual freedom and moral formation still resonate. Universities continue to grapple with similar issues. Should education primarily train minds, shape character, or aim to do both? Minkema's analysis invites us to reflect on how these early colonial debates set the stage for ongoing discussions about the role and purpose of higher education. Thank you for watching. I'm Matthew Tink, and I hope this deeper look at Kenneth Minkema's research on Cotton Mather's vision for Harvard has shed light on the enduring relationship between faith, morality, and education in American history.